That is one big pile of shit.
This film has taken years off my life. Glitter, a musical rom-com starring Mariah Carey, only famous for her Christmas song that everyone in retail hates. Is probably the worst thing I've ever had the unenjoyment of seeing.
With a story so gripping and enthralling, I needed subway service to stay focused watching this. This is truly one of the movies of all time. It generally feels like a chore watching this absolute piece of shit.
Oh, 100%. This film, even though it's only an hour and a half, felt like it was challenging the Snyder Cut in length. I could genuinely feel my cells aging.
Glitter came out in 2001, only 10 days after 9/11. So, not the best time to release a film of this caliber.
What happened on that day?
Not sure.
It had a budget of $22 million and only managed to pull a whopping 5.3 million worldwide, pulling only $700K on its opening day across over 1,000 theaters in the US. This film bombed hard, making it the second biggest bombing of that month. And critics made sure anyone involved in the film knew.
Mariah Carey actually goes on to blame the poor success of the film on the 9/11 attack.
Well, we're here to break this film down for your entertainment and show you why this film deserves to stay dead and buried. But first, if you do enjoy today's video, please consider subscribing. It's totally free and we do appreciate all of you. But yeah, right, let's get straight into this.
The film opens with this woman singing in the bar. The color palette, for some reason, is really washed of any color, and it's just incredibly jarring to look at. This woman singing is later revealed to be Billy's mother, and for some reason, she just starts crying. I don't really know why, and I don't even know why if you'd call it crying, because it just doesn't look like how a person's supposed to cry. Terrible acting, but you'll get used to that in this movie. She then invites a child onto the stage, who we then find out later on as well, is Billy, our main protagonist. She starts singing with her mother, and I'm not going to lie, it's actually pretty good singing. So I'll give it credit where credit is due.
We then transition to the home, and just look at these awful transitions. Oh, it's literally PowerPoint. So we flash white to Billy's mum's, who sets the house on fire with a ciggy. So I know smoking kills, but like, who falls asleep with a fucking cigarette in their hand? But Billy gets taken away by the adoption center and meets her lifelong friends, Roxanne and Louise.
So we cut to 1983. Honestly, I just wish we'd cut to the end of the movie. Now we see Billy is all grown up and is played by Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's acting in this movie is incredibly dull and boring.
Using your voice for silks.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm having a good time, so...
Hell no, hell, you can't let him do.
And she's clearly just interested in the paycheck, as she has just no passion for this movie whatsoever.
There is no...
I don't know if this is because of the director or her own fault, but it just really pulls you out of the movie, as it just makes you really not care for her.
Yeah, it doesn't help with a shitty script. Everything and everyone says and does just doesn't feel natural. It feels incredibly forced. Mariah Carey originally worked on the screenplay herself with Sherry West before it was rewritten by Kate Lanier, and I believe 90% of the film's problems are due to this script. The original one seems a lot more interesting and goes into more detail with Billy and her mother's relationship, which in this film I can't even say it would be considered a subplot. It's fucking forgotten about. It's literally just thrown in at bizarre points in this film.
So Timothy Walker, played by Terrence Howard, known for his roles in Iron Man and Red Tails, is in this film. He noticed the girls dancing and he wants them to be the backup dancers and singers for this other girl he's producing. Upon realizing Billy's voice is absolutely amazing, he uses her voice to cover over Silk's voice, because her voice sounds like a dying bird.
So into you, and that's forever and ever.
We're then introduced to Dice, played by Max Beasley. He's this cool DJ of the year. That's an actual thing that they show. he really likes this song that Timothy gave him and wants to produce Billy as well as sleep with her. Then they do this really weird, zany, like, effect, almost like The Mask.
Where we going? I'm not gonna bite you. Come on.
Like, it's stupid. It looks awful. Like, they have this rap battle too, and just look at the faces by Louise. Like, what was the director saying to them for them to pull these faces? I need to know.
Billy agrees with Dice producer. There's this bizarre transition with fireworks. Maybe when Mariah Carey could actually act, they wouldn't need to add these random, unnecessary effects if she could actually portray her emotions. Dice goes to Timothy asking to produce Billy, which he says sure, for 100k, which Dice agrees very easily to. Remember this for later, as Dice will completely forget this conversation ever happens. This makes Billy this absolute nobody of a singer, already worth 100k. So bad. So Dice and Billy make a song, and it's a hit. Wow. So cool. Billy's maxed her luck stack. Dice starts turning down label companies for Billy. And I think this is kind of a dick move, but he said she deserves the best. Still, this is incredibly risky. This film is set in the 80s, but it doesn't feel or look like it at all, as the fashion and style was a lot more like the late to mid 90s and early 2000s. It was very clear that it was originally conceived to be as a 90s film, but it was changed at the last second to 80s for some weird reason.
So they finally get a record company worth it and sign to the label. They hug and go on a date, and this is the most forced relationship I've ever seen. They've shown no sign of being into each other once in the film, but now they're going on a date. Whatever, the acting here is abysmal. The line delivery is on par with The Room.
It's a single red rose, and you picked me up in a limo, and you got all that cologne on, so I was just wondering.
It's so bad. Not only do they not seem to care about how they're saying things, but they're smiling through it too. It gives this weird, like, uncanny valley feel to the film, as if the characters know they shouldn't be together. As you can imagine, it really does pull, like, from the viewing experience, as this is meant to be our main leads as well as our romantic couple.
So they go back to Dice's and after the dinner date, and Dice decides to get his Riz on tonight. It's so bad. They play this really corny song, and it's just so funny because it's almost like a parody of a sex scene. They record a song, and it turns to a smash hit. It's on the radio, and Dice gets out of the cab and opens the passenger door, cranking the volume up to max, and starts banging on the car like a fucking ape. I'm surprised the cab driver didn't just shoot the guy and tell him to get off his car.
We cut to them at the studio making a music video, and the director of it is basically Harvey Weinstein. He wants her to strip and says sex sells.
Okay, sex sells. She's hot, and that's how you sell records.
Dice doesn't want to be known as a cuck. He doesn't like his girlfriend getting sexy and lewd for everyone to see. He doesn't want to be a beta male, so he takes her and leaves.
Timothy rocks up to the studio, understandably asking for his 100k that earlier in the film Dice easily agreed to. But for some reason, Dice decides to pull a Miles Morales.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
What a complete dumbass. It doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't he just give him the money? Like, Timothy is supposed to be the bad guy, but he's literally has given Billy, a top of the charts singer, away to you for free. Why can you not just give him the money, you complete arsehole? Jesus Christ, this script is so bad.
Oh yeah, remember Billy's mum that she cares so much about? Well, it's just thrown back into the story. It's had no relevance so far, but it's just thrown back in. It's so stupid. They just chuck it straight in. But yeah, so Billy is trying to find her mum at this, like, center. I don't know what it is, but it knows where all the parents are, except for her. Like, oh no, what a conundrum. It's a real shame how they've just thrown this subplot away, because I think it would have worked off better as the main plot, with the music bringing her and her mother together. I mean, there's actually a pretty good scene just before it that shows there is some creative insight into this film. The camera pans around Billy as she's playing the piano and singing a pretty impactful song where you can feel the emotion behind it being about her mother. Only if they continued down this road, you would have had a half-decent film. But not good by any means, but better than this. I also must congratulate the film for the music. All of the songs in this film were sung by Mariah Carey, and for most point, they're actually pretty good, with some of them being emotional and impactful to the movie. Unfortunately, there's just not much more to congratulate the film on.
All that for finding her mother is thrown out the window as the record decides Billie needs to change her music style to appeal to more people and that Dice won't be her producer anymore. Oh no, poor Dice. Good thing he's still DJ of the Year. Mariah has this audition. I don't know when or where this came into the plot, but it did, and Dice can't be there because he's jamming with his bros. You know what they say, bros before hoes.
At this point in the film, my brain is just completely switched off. I'm sat here wondering how there's 45 minutes left of this godforsaken film. But yeah, so they're at this after party for the audition competition thing, and Billy has all these guys wanting to produce or direct her, and Dice doesn't like this. He isn't a cuck or a beta male. He doesn't like everyone trying to make his girlfriend more successful. Gosh, how could they? But Eric Bennett plays Raphael. He's literally in this film for like 2 scenes. But he would like to do a song with Billy. But that's it. Dice has had enough of this. He wants to show how alpha he truly is. So he grabs Billy and leaves the party.
Dice goes through a very forced argument. He just starts having a go at Billy and her friends in the car. I mean, this whole rift that happens between Billy and Dice is the most forced and unnatural breakup I've ever seen. It's almost as if they were just ticking boxes. I get that Dice would be somewhat jealous that his girlfriend has so many people around her because she's famous. But at the end of the day, he should trust her, and there is a built level of trust between them in the film, and it makes zero sense why he just starts being an asshole to them. But yeah, they have an argument, and he insults Billy's friends, and they just get out of the car and ask if she wants to come. And for some reason, she's decided to stay in the car when literally 30 seconds ago, he was insulting her. It just makes no sense.
So it's the next day, and Billy randomly finds her mum outside Dice's place. Very convenient. Or at least I think it's her mum. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was, but Billy says nothing after seeing her and just walks on. Like, I'm so confused by what is going on with this film. This made no sense to me, but the film immediately ignores this as we find out that Timothy is now for some reason the bad guy. This film is just ticking the bingo card. All he wants is his money that he's owed. I mean, I think that's very reasonable. It is 100k, like, you know. But yeah, the film's got to tick its boxes. So Timothy is the bad guy and threatens Billy that if Dice doesn't pay, she might get hurt, which is just so bizarre. Seeming how she has no clue what Dice and Timothy agreed on and wasn't involved in any of it. But it makes him look super evil, so who the fuck cares? Upon hearing this, Dice gets angry and hospitalizes Timothy. Jesus, dude, what the fuck? Like, he beat him up so bad that he's in hospital. I don't think you can just get bailed out of jail for that.
Dice and Billy get in another argument. I don't know why Dice is arguing with her. He literally hospitalized a guy. He has no legs to stand on, just like Timothy. But yeah, they break up. So sad, and Billy goes back to her friends, and they just don't seem to care that her ex-boyfriend said such horrible stuff to them, and she done literally nothing about it. They just let her in with open arms. This is really cringe-like montage of a honky-tonk piano as it fades between them. I'd have a movie cliche bingo by now.
I honestly couldn't tell you what the story is at this point. It's barely been pulled along. Like, I feel sorry for this at this point. But Billy just casually breaks into Dice's house. Like, apparently Dice just has no locks or doors, I'm guessing, on his apartment. Seeming how everyone's able to get into his house easier than an Amsterdam stripper. But yeah, Billy finds a song that Dice had been writing on in his house and leaves a kiss on it. How cute. Dice comes home and sees it and looks happy. Seeming how she just casually broke into his house. Like, dude. What the fuck? But you've seen it here, women. You know, break, like, if you've got an ex, break into his house. He's gonna love it. He's going to immediately want to get back together with you. But yeah, Billy leaves to get ready for her concert.
Dice leaves to watch Billy perform at the Madison Square Garden. It was Billy's dream, she had said earlier in the film, and he runs into Timothy. No idea how he's even out of hospital that quickly, and he even looks barely injured, seeing how he was literally hospitalized. Dice walks over to attack him like a moron as Timothy pulls out a deagle and just fucking shoots him. Billy is told that Dice is dead just before her big performance. And to the film's credit, the scene of Billy giving an emotional speech and singing the song Dice had wrote is probably the best scene of this film. Mariah Carey actually gives a semi-convincing performance. The song is very beautiful and emotional, capturing her grief and her loss for losing someone she loved.
It's a shame it's ruined by what comes next. Billy reads a letter Dice had for her, and he found out where her mum is. Very convenient. Seeing how the people who find where the parents are had no records of her, Billy just somehow pulls this out of the blue. So Billy goes and meets her mother, and they embrace. This is stupid. This is so stupid for the ending. At no point in the film has she shown any motivation to find her mum. I'm surprised she didn't get back in the car and drive back off. But yeah, camera pulls out as they embrace and film ends. One more final tick for the cliche box. Overall, this is a terrible film. We both genuinely struggle to watch this. The plot Overall, this is a terrible film. We both genuinely struggle to watch this. The plot is an incoherent mess that stumbles its way through an hour and 44-minute film. They should have just stuck between Billy's mum and her career, instead of overloading the film with so many subplots that lead nowhere and end up derailing the main point of the film. Well, what little of it there was. The acting is awful, especially by Mariah Carey, who looks as interested as me when I watch this shit. Don't watch this film. It's a genuine waste of your time. I feel robbed of my hour and 44 minutes. But yeah, overall, bad film. Who'd have guessed?
Let us know if there's any other films you'd like us to take a look at and give us honest deep dive into. But do subscribe if you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.